Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. I'm back, and we are live on the Fightful Overbooked YouTube channel for another edition of Degrassi Dudes. I am here with the Spinner Mason to my Jimmy Brooks, Steven Jensen. How you doing today?
Doing good. Me and SP3 were talking right before the show here, and we were talking about Entourage for a second because they were just talking about it, him and Jeremy, right here on this channel, and we were just talking, and he mentioned E, the character, and I was like, yeah, I knew him from something else before Entourage, and he did, SP3 did also. And then we both blew each other's minds, like, yeah, Happily Ever After. Like, I remember watching that show all the time on the WB when I was younger, and completely forgot that it existed for like the last 20 years until like just now. But I'm gonna have to watch that again, like, because that was a pretty adult show. I feel like for like the time that I was watching it, I probably didn't like really understand really what I was watching. I probably just liked the whole idea because we related it, like it was like Married with Children, which was a show that I was familiar with because it came on before Power Rangers. That's the only reason I remember that show. And then of course it had like Al Bundy, and like, I remember part things about it. But then Happily Ever After kind of reminds me also of Alf, because like had like the talking bunny, and then like Alf was like the little talking alien that looked like a little puppet. So man, I'm having my mind blown this morning. How you doing, man?
Yo, like when you because I told him, like, I set it up when when we were talking about Entourage. I was like, I only knew one of the guys before the show, and I was talking about E, and then I remember Adrian Grenier from You Drive Me Crazy with I always call her Carissa Space and All, or Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but Melissa Joan Hart, I do know her real name.
All elite now.
All elite Melissa Joan Hart. Yes, he did that movie with her, but the only person I really remember when I first saw the show was E from Happily Ever After, because it came on after all my favorite shows on the WB, like Wayne's Brothers and Jamie Foxx and Steve Harvey, and then Happily Ever After would come on, and I told Jensen, I was like, it was like the low rent Married with Children, just with a talking bunny. And E used to play the low rent Bud Bundy. So it was like, I remembered him vividly from there. So it was very cool to know someone else that remembered E from that show as well.
Oh my god. I'm going to try to pull a picture up real quick so people can know what we're talking about.
Absolutely. We're teaching people all the things today. On the FMC, we talked about OC along with Entourage. And look, we got a couple of the regulars in the live chat with us already. We got Booter Dude, we got Sports and Things saying happy Friday, Degrassi peeps. Yes, it's Degrassi Friday. It's a Degrassi Friday, as usual, here on Degrassi Dudes. But yes, while Jeremy does that, we are going to be
talking... Jeremy?
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. As Jensen, see the J's yeah. As Jensen looks up that picture of E, aka E from Happily Ever After, want to remind you to drop the thumbs up on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you are new to the Fightful Overbooked YouTube channel. Of course, you can also go over to the Twitch channels, Fight Talk _ as well as True Hill Heat Wrestling, to go over and subscribe over there, because we go live immediately following this episode of Degrassi Dudes on Fightful Overbooked over there for our post show, where we will be watching some special Eclare episodes, because on this edition of Degrassi Dudes, we're talking about one of the most iconic Degrassi couples. Yes, Eli and Clare Edwards and Eli Goldsworthy. Eclare here on Degrassi Dudes. It's going to be a wonderful day.
Indeed. And I just realized as I'm getting this picture set up, I forgot to play the the intro countdown for the show, but that's okay. Here we go. This is what I've completely forgot what this bunny looked like, but yeah, this is it here. They were running like a crystal ball. I forgot all, dude. What
was her name? The girl, because I remember that she was supposed to be really big. She was gonna be really big, and she used to feature on a whole bunch of different other shows.
Yeah, I have to look it up. This is gonna bother me if I don't.
It's like Nikki something. Well, I think her name on the show was Nikki, But yeah, look at
Happily Ever After. I was like, what? Unhappily Ever After was the show's name.
Oh, Unhappily Ever After.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was like searching for Happily Ever After, and it wasn't. Okay. Was it Tiffany?
Tiffany. Yes.
Yeah, Nikki Cox was her real name.
Yes, Nikki Cox. There you go. She was supposed to be real big, but nothing ever came of it.
Man, what a just. My mind is just blown thinking about that show. Anyways, we got to do we got to do some sort of like review or watch along of like an episode of that, just to, because it would be like watching it for the first time. There was 5 seasons. There was 100 episodes total.
There was 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Wait. There was 100 episodes, 5 seasons. Please tell me they didn't have more episodes and seasons than the Wayans brothers.
Ooh, let me check. We're brothers.
We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five. Cut in print. Dynamite. That was
so good, man. The way I remember I had a really good friend who didn't have cable growing up, and he would always come to school talking about the Wayans brothers, and I was like, what the hell show is this kid talking about all the time? So like I went and sought it out, and I was like, this show is incredible. Like I was such a Marlon Wayans fan as a kid. Like, I thought he was the funniest.
Yo, he was hilarious on this show, especially like the first season and stuff. I still remember, wasn't the first episode with Gary Coleman?
I think so.
I think so. Like I remember that one.
Yeah, John Witherspoon was on the show the whole time too, wasn't he? He was always the dad, like the whole.
Yeah. That's Pops.
Yeah.
Pop.
He was so good on the Boondocks too.
Just put him Pops. Just
Oh, dude, and you'll love hearing this. Sorry, I got a little cough this morning. The Wayans brothers had one more episode than Unhappily Ever After. Five seasons, 101 episodes.
So that thing seems like the bare minimum these WB series got. Y'all got 5 seasons, 100 episodes to get y'all stuff in, get it done. Oh, Maggie wants to hear me sing. I was just reminded from Wayans Brothers of my favorite song from the Wayans Brothers. Might be my favorite song from a TV show is when Pops revealed that he was a part of a 70s R&B group, and him and Sean and Marlon performed When My Love Goes Bang Bang Bang, you better run for trouble, you sweet little thing. When my love goes bang bang bang, it's gonna be you and me again.
Well, there you go. This is your Friday morning entertainment, everybody. Dude, so check this out. So like Steve Harvey must have done a little bit better than the rest of them, because he got 122 episodes, 6 seasons. So he got one more than these other shows we're talking about. Steve Harvey was always an entertaining guy. I didn't like him quite as much as the Wayans Bros, but it was also because like the Wayans Bros were like younger and like I was a kid and stuff, you know.
I watched Steve Harvey show for Bullethead and Romeo.
Oh yeah,
Bullethead used to be the funniest on that show. And then when they got Lori Beth from all that added some more humor to the show too.
Dude, did you see her cameo in Workaholics like a handful of years ago? Oh, yes. That was so funny. She's like getting stoned in like a hot tub with them, and she's like, "I got some vital information for you." And I was like, "Oh, this is so good."
Popped all the young all that fans in there. Oh, I forgot the funniest people on the show: Ced and Larita. Ced and Larita. Cedric the Entertainer, and the girl. I think she was like working in the school office. That they were very funny. Jamie Foxx was funniest like the first like 2 seasons. Then it got kind of corny after a while. But Jamie's just whole interactions with Braxton were like the funniest thing about that show.
Yeah, that's so funny. You know, this just because this is reminding me of so many just shows right now. You watch I know we don't talk about much, but you watch Always Sunny, right? So Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I've seen it before, yeah.
Have you ever seen the episode? Or well, they use this guy multiple times, but there's an episode where they try out for the Philadelphia Eagles. Have you seen that one?
No,
you have to watch that like right after this. But so it's like they're trying to do like the movie Invincible, where like they're just gonna go try out for the Eagles with the open tryouts, And like a lot of the people there, like there's people there, like, you know, wearing capes and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like just like the biggest jabronis are out there, like trying out for this team. And part of the thing is they're supposed to get this big like seminar from Donovan McNabb. So this fake Donovan McNabb rolls up in like a little, like it's like shitty Volvo. And like, you know, he gives a speech about like eating breakfast at McDonald's. Like it's clearly just like an actor doing a McDonald's plug. Like it isn't Donovan McNabb, but it's Elvin from the Cosby Show from like forever ago. And that's who the guy is doing the fake McNabb. But the best part of it is like the Always Sunny gang that's there is like, wait a second, wait, that's dude from the Cosby Show. Wait, no, this isn't Donovan McNabb. Like they call him out for being the guy from the Cosby Show because he actually is. And there's been multiple episodes that they've used him as like his character on the show is the character who played Elvin on the Cosbys, and he goes around pretending to be people like McNabb, Tiger Woods, Don Cheadle. Like he's constantly acting as other people, but he is the actor who played Elvin from the Cosby Show. It's so funny. Like it's so meta. Like, but it's it's so funny. But anyways. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to get out of the way before we talk to Degrassi. We appreciate everyone who's in here right now.
So, CM, you rock in the live chat. I love you putting the full name, Lavita Alizé Jenkins. Absolutely, yo, that was my favorite character on the show. Her and Sed's relationship. That was relationship goals for me as a kid, man. That WB block, yo, that WB block is up there with the SNCC block. Is up there with the TGIF block. Like people sleep on the WB block, man.
There was a while that little frog was like a big deal. The WB frog. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else on that channel that we're missing that like I was a big fan of.
Well, I know a lot of people that I know my mom used to watch like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah, I never got into that.
Me either.
Yeah,
and like Angel, I was never into that type of stuff at that time. So
wait, did WB become CW?
Yes.
Okay.
No, wasn't it? I get confused a lot. I don't know. Did the
no
UPN
became
to CW?
And the reason I got that confused because. And I got that confused because UPN used to show a lot of like the reruns of stuff I had seen on WB before.
Yes.
So
UPN had the shows like Moesha, the Parkers. Outside of that, I don't really. No, 1-on-1 was really good. 1-on-1 with Flex was really good. Flex was also in another one with homie from Different World. I think it was like Space Homeboys in Outer Space. That's what it was.
Wow. Okay, I gotta check that out. Wow. Oh my god.
Deep cut right there. Let me know in the live chat if you know what Homeboys in Outer Space is.
I gotta look up the name of the show real quick. I know the name of the show. I gotta see if this was on UPN because I'm pretty sure it was. And if you've ever heard of this show, I'm gonna be mind blown because I was the only person in the world that was watching this. I guarantee it.
Well, I almost forgot my favorite show from the WB, and Maggie's gonna love this because it makes me always sing when I bring it up. Dawson's Creek.
Oh,
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. I don't want right now. I know would it be?
Yeah, that had Charlie Conway. Charlie Conway. What was his name? Pacey on that show?
That was the whole reason I originally watched
it. I believe that. I believe that.
I was like, Charlie Conway's in a teen drama. I'm watching it. And then when you watch the first season and you see Charlie Conway piping the teacher, you like, yeah, Charlie, yes.
Okay, so tell me, this did air on UPN. It aired from 2004 to 2005, less than a year. So it was a very small window that you had to be paying attention to know about this show. Are you familiar with Dance 360? Do you have any idea what that is?
Dance 360 or Dance?
Yeah, I think it was pronounced Dance 360, but like that's how it's spelled is 360. Dance 360. What this was it was like trying to capitalize on like the popularity of movies like You Got Served, where they would put people up against each other to like break dance against each other and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was hosted by Kel Mitchell and Fredo Starr. and it was and so like it's Kel Mitchell just hyping up people, like just trying to get them to dance against each other. And the prizes was like so low budget. Like I'm reading right now, and I'm like totally mind blown just thinking about this stuff. The winner would get $360, like that, like because it was Dance 360. And then either an Xbox, like an original Xbox, but this is like once the 360 is already out. So like you get an original Xbox, $360, and then like there was other like random prizes like Boost mobile phones and Fuse Sunbird scooters.
You remember when all these reality shows used to give out sidekicks?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
like the
that was
challenge
a big deal.
did that. You know what you remind me of with the low price thing was for like the prize winner was Yo Mama. You remember that?
Oh my gosh, yeah. On MTV.
I got $1,000 of cash money.
Yeah. Oh my god. Another thing that they would always they would give out Echo clothing.
Yes.
So but dude, yeah, because like Nickelodeon, they had pretty cool prizes for kids. Like when you were a kid and watching it, you were like, Space Camp sounds pretty dope. Like, oh, okay. Like I GAC looks like fun. Whatever little like keyboards they give out.
When you used to watch Double Dare with those prizes, that used to make you want to go on Double Dare all the time.
Yeah, 100%. Even remember the Bozo show where they'd like throw the balls in the buckets and then like they'd get like a prize every bucket they made, and it'd start off with like Cracker Jacks or something. But like if you like made it all the way down, like you actually got something cool. Wow. This is so funny. Yo Mama, I completely forgot that show existed. I knew somebody in my high school. It was a few years later. We were in college at the time. He was like this kid. I won't say his name, but like he was this kid who was like very, very dorky, but like thought he was really cool. And I saw him like in the crowd in an episode of Yo Mama. Like he was like one of the people there that was like just hyping up the from the outside, like in the circle. And I was like, oh, that kid's on Yo Mama? Like what? But anyways, that's as CM says, that show would just be like extra canceled nowadays. You cannot do that kind of stuff, say the things that they were saying to each other. But wow, what a freaking
trip down memory lane we just took.
Oh my god, that's too funny. Yeah, wow. So we can talk to Degrassi, but wow, now I'm thinking about all these other shows that I just haven't thought about in so long.
We went on a ride, ladies and gentlemen, to start off this Degrassi dudes. But yes, we know we are here to talk about Eclare. I see a bunch of questions in the live chat, a couple of them about what the roller coaster couple, as Sports and Things says, of Eclare. So we're here to talk about it, and we want to hear your thoughts in the live chat as well. So Eclare, they meet in season 10 of Degrassi. Prior to season 10, Claire Edwards is like a main. It's like she starts off as kind of like a side character in about season, was it 5 or 6?
With just Darcy's sister,
yeah, the little sister of Darcy that wears the Catholic school uniform. Season 8 introduces her going to Degrassi as a freshman for the gifted class, along with Connor and Allie and KC. She gets to a whole relationship with like KC, and then he gets stolen from her by Jenna, and then that brings us kind of into like season 10, where in episode 4 she meets Eli. He runs over her glasses because she just got contacts, and he tells her that she has nice eyes, and the love story begins from there.
Yes, absolutely. And we're gonna watch. Are we watching that episode?
Yes.
On the watch along. Yeah, so I've got that one ready to go. So we'll watch that. This just popped me too. You'll recognize that. I don't want to wait for my job, but keep it to be over. Yeah. That's good stuff. Good stuff, Maggie. But yeah, so like right off the bat, Eli immediately is into Claire. Like immediately. And then like Claire, it takes like she clearly is too, but she's like trying to fight it. She's trying to make it seem like she's not into him, and they're like in class. And she's like talking to Jenna or whatever, and even in Claire's like, oh, this guy is so annoying, and she's like, Or she might be talking to Allie, one of the
Adam.
two.
I think she was talking to Adam. At her,
Oh.
Adam and Eli are in the I think like English cast together, and that's how
that makes sense. Yeah, and like everyone can tell she's like really into him. Like they're like, why don't you just like he likes you, and like you clearly are like obsessed with this dude. So like so they pretty much hit it off like right away. But yeah, it all starts with that. You have pretty eyes thing, and then she starts wearing contacts after that. The rest of, like the show,
yeah, he inspires her. And then like they start writing together. She helps him with his writing, he helps her with hers. It seems, I think they have to do like this project where they have to do like an interpretation of Romeo and Juliet, and they kiss each other, and Claire likes it and thinks things are going to change and go in that direction, but he has like this wall up and kind of pushes her back. And then eventually he reveals that he's basically he got into a big fight with his ex-girlfriend, and she went out on her bike at night, riding her bike home, and she got into an accident and she died. And that's why he drives around his infamous hearse as basically a reminder of the person that he lost.
Yeah, deep stuff for me. He is a very layered guy. Like you find out like later on he's a hoarder, and a lot of it has to do with that situation. Like he feels like when he throws things away, he's like losing them forever, and like a lot of it stems from that. And his parents are like the total opposite of him. They're like radio personality people, and they're like really like loud and like out there, and he's kind of like a little darker and kind of quiet. So yeah, there's like you can tell pretty much right away there's like a lot of layers, and then once again you find out more along the way. But yeah, I mean that was, I'll be honest, at first I didn't think I was gonna like the Eli character. I was like, this guy's gonna be like way too emo for me. And then but then he was a character that I found like really interesting throughout the show. And then Claire also just like really evolves throughout it too. She goes from like really, really nerdy and like super conserved to like she changes a lot over time, grows a lot over time, like just like as a person or whatever. So
100%. I won't front. There are times like season 13, season 14, I really don't like Claire, and I think a lot of her decision making is very impulsive, and it leads to a lot of bad situations. So I probably will talk about that as we go on with this Eclare story here. But I see a few comments. We got a super chat from Bam, who says, was more of a Drew and Bianca guy. Great day to all. I mean, let us know if you're more a Drew and Bianca guy. We could do an episode talking about Drew and Bianca, because they have their own drama, that especially like season 11 on with them. So yeah, we could do a whole episode talk about Drew and Bianca as well.
There's the start of their relationship is technically the basement of Degrassi, right? Like that was like the first time that they and then they wind up
they don't kiss first. They give she gives him head in the basement of Degrassi when he's going out with Ali Bandari. So
yep, you just couldn't resist it.
Couldn't resist. But I also see Sportson Thing says Eclare is toxic. and also but CM disagrees, says Claire and Eli may have had the least toxic or Degrassi relationship on Degrassi long term. Wow. I mean, let's get into a couple of I guess toxic situations that they had, because as they eventually do get together, things are going well, but he still has this whole beef that started before their relationship with Fitz. And Claire tries to kind of separate things. Fitz also starts bullying Adam. Adam wants to get into a fight with Fizz, and Fizz is doesn't want to beat him up because he considers Adam a girl because she's transgender. And then he beats up Eli instead, Claire throws like a smoke bomb to get like everybody
Stink
out.
bomb, yeah.
A sting bomb out everybody out of the school so nobody gets hurt. Then it starts like the whole mystery of who did it. So Eli basically tells Simpson that it was Fitz. That leads to Fitz being more angry at Eli. So Claire tries to smooth things out by basically going to the school dance with Fitz, but Eli basically poisons Fitz when they're supposed to be on good terms, and this pisses off Fitz where he pulls out a knife on Eli and stabs the wall to like get him scared, and basically Fitz is arrested. He then comes back reformed and tries to make things right with him and Eli, but Eli's not trying to hear any of it. Claire is more receptive to it, but this caused like an eventual rift between them, and Eli, to kind of get the attention of Claire or make a grand gesture to win her back, basically crashes his hearse and winds up in the hospital, which is of course very dangerous behavior and concerning behavior. So Claire understandably ends their relationship at the end of season 10.
Yes. Yeah. And we talked about it before, but the Fitz and Eli like rivalry there was like multiple episodes where like they just kept escalating. Like you did a good job summarizing like exactly what happened, but like just a little more context. Like there was like it went from like almost a fight between Adam and Fitz, and then Fitz beating up Eli, or like he punched him in the face, whatever it was. And then but that became like there were multiple times I could have squashed the beef. And then like Eli, I think he was the first one to like go up to Fitz and be like, hey, like, let's stop this. Like, will you be cool with me if I get you a fake ID? And he's like, yeah, if you give me a fake ID, like, I'll stop messing with you. So Eli goes and gets him a fake ID, but purposely makes it a fake ID of a dude who's wanted for like arson or something like that. So he winds up getting into an intentional fight with Fitz, knowing the cops are going to come to break up the fight. And when they check their IDs, they think Fitz is this criminal. So Fitz gets arrested right there. So then Fitz continues to escalate it. The next time he sees Eli, can't remember exactly what he does. But then there's like, once again, it gets to the point that you had talked about where Fitz takes Claire to the dance as like that's supposed to just end it. Like Fitz got his way, like whatever, he's a bully. Not glorifying bullies, but it's one of those things where like Eli also like could have been the bigger man like multiple times and just been like, you know what? Like the past. If you just stop messing with me and Claire, like just, you know what I mean? Like you could have just been over with. And it finally looked like it was going to be over because like Fitz took Claire to the dance. Claire and Fitz, like they didn't like hit it off or anything. It wasn't like Claire was going to like leave Eli for Fitz. Like she was literally just doing it so that they would stop fighting each other. And then right when it looks like things are fine, because Eli, like they do a toast and it's like Fitz, it looks like Fitz is like just gonna drop the whole thing at that point.
And even Claire is basically suspect to it all, tells them to switch cups, and Eli knew she was gonna do that.
Yes, Eli premeditated the entire scenario, knowing that like so what SP3 is explaining is basically there was, you know, poison essentially in this cup, and then this cup is just regular pop or soda or whatever. And so Eli's gonna drink this cup. Fitz has this cup, and Claire tells him to switch cups because she thinks that Eli's done something to Fitz's drink. So when they switch cups, now Fitz is holding the one with like the laxative or the Epicac or whatever you want to call it. And but then that once again that leads to, and this was actually a pretty, I am not advocating for people bringing weapons to school and like that kind of, like obviously. But it's one of those things where like he totally punked out Eli. Like Eli was on the ground, like fetal position in the corner because like he was so scared. And then Fitz, you know, didn't stab him. He stabbed the wall and was like check your pants or whatever. Like you pissed your pants. And at that moment, I was like, once again, none of this is like justified. But I'm just saying, like, this is why you don't escalate these kind of things, in my opinion. Like, if there's a way to make peace, you make peace. Otherwise, you like, you know. You go to the, I hate to sound like a snitch or whatever, but like you essentially go to authorities if like things are getting so bad that like, you know, weapons are starting to get involved in that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things where like at the end, Eli kind of got what he deserved too, because like he wouldn't drop it. He kept poking the bear. And then when Fitz was finally just like, just really, really punked him out. And then it was like, damn, dude, like this whole thing was just like ugly. And then when you see Fitz again, as you had mentioned, then he's like the reformed, like, oh, and this is a very good point. The Degrassi authorities do suck. Like you go to them about all these problems, they won't do anything about it. So like that's a very fair point to make.
And Bam with a good point that the dance was where Drew and Bianca started there too. It was Vegas, the Vegas night.
That's
it was
right.
Vegas night. That Vegas night was very eventful, and then it gets brought up again in season 11.
Was the Vegas night the one like before it happened, like to get it to happen? Was that the like weird episode where like Fiona dresses up like all sexy in front of like the teachers or whatever, like drunk?
Because she's drunk. She's drunk, and she's like, yeah. And then Holly J comes in, and she's like, what the hell? And then Holly J
little mistakes.
Holly J winds up wearing the same piece for Sav, and they're caught in the theater room at the Vegas night. Like that's the three major things that happen is that the Spitz pulling the knife on Eli, and Allie and Drew being caught in the boiler room because Allie got $50 from Owen to go down to the boiler room with him.
That's right. And that's right. Because all the police have to come in when the knife it's known that someone has a knife in the school, and then all these people get caught doing all this other stuff in the rest of the school. And then that also leads to the next time because that was like the end of the season or the halfway
point. Yeah.
So when it came back, that was because the end of that episode, I remember that's when Simpson's like, when you guys come back to the school, you won't even recognize it.
You're not gonna recognize. I'm like, why would you do this like a mid-season finale? Why this wouldn't be like the end of the season? But this is at the point where they're doing like half years. Like you're seeing half of 1 year and then half of another year in like seasons and stuff. So it's weird.
I'll be honest, I didn't like Snake being portrayed as like the heel during like a lot of this because we had gone through so many years, especially if you watch the original Degrassi series, like just so much of like, and even on like the Next Generation, all the stuff he had to go through with like wrongfully, like the wrong, like, like the sexual abuse, like the thing that he didn't do that like got him kind of like suspended from the school and his reputation and the cancer. And like, he went through so much and you felt so bad for the dude. Now it's like, now he's just looked at as like this, like the prick, principal of Degrassi who's changing everything. Because this led to them all having to wear uniforms and like, they had to get like way stricter about everything, and he took away like all of their clubs, and it just kind of made Snake look like a dick. But at the same time, it's like he's got to do what he's got to do. Things have gotten too lax when like because that's the other thing about Degrassi. There's multiple. Basically, the way that I watch this show is when you knew that a dance was coming up, you knew something big was going to happen because like there was almost always something like super dramatic that would happen at the school dances on the show.
They always had the big moments. Oh, we should also got Maggie with a super chat. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie.
Much love, Maggie. We always appreciate you for that. But yeah, the school dance always marked something big is about to happen or should happen during these episodes, regardless of if it's for a certain character or overall with the school, like with Vegas night. But continuing on with the Eclare story, we go into season 11. They are broken up. And Eli is kind of like distant. He's to himself, and Claire doesn't understand like how he's acting like this. And then eventually she finds out he's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So he starts taking medicine, his meds and everything. But then he basically gets inspired to do a school play during like the theater class. He's chosen as the director and the writer. No, he's chosen as the writer of the play. Fiona is chosen as the director. And he basically turns it into his story with the story of Eclare, basing it on Vegas night called Love Roulette. But he goes through this whole, basically, whirlwind of emotions during this whole process, because he gets Imogen is introduced in this season, and she plays Claire in the play, and they start developing a relationship together. But really, he's just with Imogen as a kind of a replacement for Claire. We see like kind of his emotional breakdown towards the end of the play and everything like that. So that's kind of like the midway point of season 11, where it's kind of Eli's got his own story going on, kind of just reacting to the breakup, while Claire is kind of using her stepbrother or eventual stepbrother,
That
Jake,
was, yeah.
Jake, as kind of like this replacement and her rebound that she eventually develops real feelings for, where she actually tells him I love you and stuff. It gets very, very weird as that story transpires too. And that's a story within itself, but that sets up basically a love triangle of Jake, Claire, and Eli. Or love
That's
rectangle if you throw Imogen in there too.
right. Yeah. Yeah, that whole thing with because yeah, her and Jake were dating, and then like their parents were dating, and then they wind up getting married, so like they wind up technically being step siblings, which was just very, very strange. At some point I remember too, like Eli, I can't remember if it was before or after this, but I remember at one point Eli is writing like these like really like bizarre stories about Claire, where Claire is like dying and he's like dying with her stuff, and she's like getting like really freaked out about it. Like his writing is very, very out there sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's stuff that like I think is like really, really deep. Like the idea of like being with someone like eternally forever and those kind of things. Like I get like where he's coming from with some of the stuff, but like she's getting really freaked out like about some of the stuff that he's saying and doing. And
for good reason.
And huh?
I said for good reason.
Yeah.
You
Oh no. I would be freaked out too, because he's not writing anything about like like it was this. I just remember him writing something about I don't think he said it was like her, but it was like clearly could have been perceived as like he was talking about her, similar to like this play where like Imogen is clearly just that's Claire, like, you know. So like yeah, this was all just kind of weird. They're both just kind of using other people to like, because they really just want to be with each other. So yeah, that went on for a little bit. And how did the play go? I can't remember. Did anything dramatic happen there?
I know Imogen doesn't show, so Fiona has to play the Claire role, and then he like basically goes off script at the end and cuts like a whole monologue about
That's
this is
right.
not your life, you can't write a play about your life, and then he burns the script, and that's how the play ends. And then after the play, that's when his parents basically were like, I think we need to get you help now.
Yeah.
They were like, I think we need to work on that. So let's get on that.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yep. Yeah, there was a lot of. It's sad because like there's just a lot of stuff that Eli had to deal with, but like that was his way of like dealing with it, was like his like art, but like his art was like really scary to like everyone else. So like yeah, eventually his parents finally during this realized like my kid's up here like really hurting right now. Like we need to do something about this. So yeah.
So after he gets help, he decides that he sees like Jake and Claire have a fight in the hallway, so he decides to help them. He basically starts working with Jake on this like sweat lodge, and gets them into the sweat lodge, where they profess their love for one another, and they get back together, and they're all good. We also got in. He's also there when whole bunch of other stuff. They're talking about other stuff that has nothing to do with it here. But then eventually at the end of season 11, they kind of have this reunion of sorts, it seems, where they kind of get back on good terms with one another. I believe at the like midway point of season 11, or I believe the midway point of season 11 is when they have I think, yeah, summer break, just before summer break, they have Claire and Jake have like this big fight, and Claire gets lost in like the woods. Jake makes out with Allie at this like ranch.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
one of the better episodes of like post season 10, because they make it like a horror film,
Right.
and Marisol gets high, and
That's right. Yeah, that was so bizarre. I was so confused because I actually just watched that recently for the first time this episode, because I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking when I started watching. I was like, is this supposed to be like a horror episode? Because yeah, they go off to like this basically, yeah, they get in a fight. Him and Claire get in a fight, and he's like, I'm just gonna throw a party at this lodge that I have. And like they invite like everyone except for Claire. And then Claire still winds up going, right, with someone else. Someone else brings her.
yeah, she winds up leaving with Jake, and they give Eli a ride. Like, because the scene ends with Jake driving off, and Claire's in the middle of Jake and Eli, so it kind of gives you the whole visual of the love triangle. But eventually, I believe like they break up, Jake and Claire, just like a few episodes later, and then Claire is kind of on her own for the end of season 11, because no one wants to do the Degrassi holiday edition for the newspaper. So a lot of her friends that she's had fallen outs with, like Casey, Connor, Jenna, Allie, decides to help her, and she needs someone for like the arts, and in comes Eli to help her out as well. And then that's when you see like the spark starting to light up again between them, and by the end of season 11 they kiss each other, and then by the first episode of season 12 they're back together.
And that, so my timeline is all screwed up like after a certain point. This is all, you're probably getting to this soon, but when they're broken up, they meet again in like another city.
Oh no! This is a later breakup. I'm
Okay. Yeah. I'm skipping ahead a little bit. Okay,
it's fine. It's totally fine. But yeah, they have a few on and offs, to say the least.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting confused, because I remember certain ones where they got back together, but it's like they broke up multiple times. So I'm trying to remember like what happened during which period here.
Yes. So season 12 is really a Clare kind of focused season for much of it. Like Eli has his own stuff. He has another play. That's when he comes up with Romeo and Jules, and to just really it's just to F with Becky, because Becky is this religious girl who wants to also do the play. She wants to do Romeo and Juliet. So he turns it around on her and makes it Romeo and Jules, to give Tristan the role as Jules. And then but Claire, on the other hand, while he's working on the play, she's working with this famous writer and reporter, and she's like a big fan of him, and she kind of gets obsessed with him a lot, like talking about him too much, and they start making the hashtag what Asher says and everything, because of what or things Claire says, and it's all about like Asher and stuff. And then he eventually tries to come on to her. She thinks that it's all good when he apologizes, but then he eventually like tries to trap her in a car and tries to like molest her, and she eventually goes to the higher ups, but he had already told them that she's obsessed with him, so she gets fired from her internship after she had just wrote an article with him on the play that Eli did. So it's kind of like the secret where it's kind of like eating Claire alive. She starts drinking at school with Dallas, and she even tells Dallas about the whole situation. This leads to a whole big fight at Fiona's between Dallas and the hockey team, and Eli and Jake, and eventually like the secret comes out. He comforts her. Yeah, and then their breakup doesn't even happen from all of that in season 12. Their breakup happens when Eli is the one that finds Cam Saunders after he passes away. He's the first one to see him in the basically like the woodshed of the school, and that like trauma just basically messes him up. Claire tries all she can to be like the comforting girlfriend, but nothing really works, and he just has to like break it off with her.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack with all that. Like I remember that story. That was a creepy thing with the like the writer that she was
Yeah,
not
cool.
Yeah, that was wild. Because that was part of it too, was like he wasn't running her story while it was happening. He was like trying to use that as like leverage to like get her to like do stuff with him. Like he was like wouldn't run it and then he eventually did, right? Like she feels weird about it because it's like, yeah, this is, now it's out there, but like all this stuff that people don't know about, like what it took to get this thing in this, written. Yeah, that was there's a lot of that on the show, unfortunately. A lot of like adults with minors, like, like, which is obviously not cool, but something that unfortunately is a real thing in real life. So like, at least this show, like, shows you the dangers of some of these situations at the very least. Like, because that thing with Claire, because the first time he does it, it's like in the office, like after hours, he's like helping her edit it or whatever, and then he kind of comes on to her, and then he's like apologizes or whatever, and then they get in the car again, and he tries to like lock her in the car, and like it's like really aggressive, and it was like, this is really messed up. And then super messed up too for Eli. It's like this guy who like death is like such a thing that he's always thinking about and like so kind of shook by. And then like he's the one who finds Cam after Cam had committed suicide. So it's like, of course, he's the one who finds him of all people. Like the probably the last person in that school who like, was like could handle seeing something like that. So yeah, they're both dealing with like a whole bunch of stuff at this time.
Yeah, this starts him on like using drugs, like first smoking weed, then he does MDMA and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's a lot, and he just really can't deal with kind of Claire trying to comfort him and be there for him. Then eventually, I believe it's Connor who's wanting for Eli and Claire to get back together, while Eli admits to Connor that he still loves Claire, and then it's eventually Connor who's like spilling the tea to Jenna and Allie and basically getting them all back together. So by the end of the season 12, basically Claire decides, because she's not with Eli anymore, she still wants to go to like the end of the year, the prom, and she decides to go out with like some random dude from the school that she met at like a clothing store or something like that, and he picks her up for the prom, and this dude Eli is trying to win back Claire, so this dude pulls up in a freaking horse and carriage because he says that she's a princess and he wants to treat her like such. Eventually they get back together at the prom. They finally just say it because Claire's date is actually gay, so that she should have asked that before that, just saying. And this is also the night where Claire and Eli lose their virginity. They make love with each other, so they're back together by the end of season 12.
Wow. It took that long for them to do that too. I mean, I I know Claire, like, I just forgot that like it went that long before like they actually did, and it was both of their first time, right? Yeah. So yeah, interesting. I forgot, and not that there's anything wrong with that or anything. I just because like Claire was very, very like I don't know what the right word is, very religious, like when we first saw her. And Darcy, that was a whole thing with Darcy when she lost her virginity, and that was not her choice, and like that was a really, really big story for a while on Degrassi. And I guess I completely forgot that was that Eli, that was his first time too. But yeah, so wow, so yeah, they finally do that, and then they break up again.
Yes, because at the end of season 12 is Eli's graduation, and then basically at the graduation, this is when Claire gets the text and she finds out that she has cancer.
Right.
So yeah, then she goes through that at the beginning of season 13. She lets Eli know. Eli is very there for her. Like, I know at one point she tells him, he's doing like an internship on a movie set, and she tells him they stay there, but then she spends her first day in the hospital, and she calls him to come, and the dude is already there. It's like, yo, he pulled up again, pulled up at the clutch moment. So he's there for her and everything, but slowly but surely he starts focusing more on college, and so focusing more on like film projects that he's doing with his editor Lenore. And this is where Degrassi kind of gets like, you kind of have to watch the online stuff, because they released like an online shorts of Eli at college that showed the Lenore is actually never shown on Degrassi The Next Generation proper. She's only shown in those Eli shorts, and they kind of show how their relationship like develops, how she really develops feelings for him. They only kiss, they didn't do like anything further, but that leads to Eli and Claire's next breakup in season 13, when he feels like Claire feels like he's getting distance from her, and sees like he started like smoking, so she's about to like call him out on smoking, and he basically thinks that she knows about him cheating, so he admits that he cheated on her with Lenore. So then she starts getting closer to Drew, and right after the breakup, basically had sex with Drew at the school dance once again. At a school dance. Yep. And Eli shows up at the same school dance, basically like confronting her on everything, while like Drew, she wants to be with Drew at this point. She's just done with Eli treating her bad and, you know, cheating on her and stuff. So she wants to get with Drew, but Drew doesn't want to feel like he's a rebound and basically turns her down. So she eventually does get back with Eli, and I think they like break up, but she gets back with him like that. It's like a soft breakup this time, when he admits that he cheated, and then she gives him like the official breakup, like over the phone. I believe it was something like that. And then that's when he like basically shows up. They get back together at the school, and then no, I think they break up again after that. There's so many confused. Yeah. But I think the breakup happens over the phone, and then the part you're talking about, when she goes out to New York for her NYU interview, they like spend the whole weekend together. He's there after her interview, and basically has like it's even the quote that's here for Degrassi, for Eclare, where he tells her, "Claire Edwards, you're the most incredible person I've ever met. And I know this isn't how you plan for things to go. And I know it's scary, but I feel really lucky to be part of this journey with you. I love you, and I'll always be here for you no matter what."
Well, there you go. I mean, that's just another one of those Degrassi things. There's the TV show thing, but like, because like they ran into each other in New York. It wasn't like they like planned to meet up. She's just like, "Wait, Eli? Is that Eli just right there?" You know, it's similar to when they're in California for like the movie thing, and like Ellie just like runs into Craig on the street. You know, like just in California, like it's it's kind of cheesy, but at the same time, yeah, like Eli like just straight up confesses that like he still loves her.
Yes,
and they spend time together.
I'm looking at the Eclare when they start dating. That's not considered when they start dating again. They're still in this breakup term, because she still has everything with Drew, and then she finds out with the call because she got checked because she ran into a pole in New York, so she had to go to a hospital, and basically she finds out the results from the hospital. It has nothing to do with her head. They tell her, "Congratulations, you and your baby are full health." Yeah. And so she's in a dilemma here, where she spent time with Eli and Drew in the last couple of months, so she doesn't really know who the father is, but Drew was the last guy that she was with, so she assumes it's Drew. So they admit everything to Drew. Then Eli finds out, and he's informed that she believes it's true. So he's like done with her. He doesn't want to get back with her. No matter what he said before, he's like pretty much done with her. So she's going through everything with Drew, with the baby and stuff. And then they find out that the baby is like 4 months, old. So it doesn't work out with the timeline of when she slept with Drew, and that the father is really Eli, who eventually finds out, and he has been a absolute jerk to Claire ever since he found out that she was having a baby with Drew. So then he has to basically get her to be to forgive him.
Yeah, geez. so much. So it's so much. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what you can really say to that. Like, it's like a Maury Povich type situation unfolding in front of your eyes. Like she doesn't know who the baby daddy is. It could be multiple people. Eli is like the dude up on the stage who's like, it isn't my kid. It isn't my kid. You know it isn't my kid. You know it isn't my kid. And then it's like, you are the father. And he's like, oh. And the crowd's like, yes, you got what you deserved. That's kind of Eli in this situation. Like, I know it's not mine. And it's his. And screw you. And I want to be with you anymore. But then it turns out it is his. Now he's got to like backpedal and like,
Bravo.
Yeah. Now. Yeah. Apologize. So, but anyways, so Claire and Eli, they are pregnant. What happens next?
So next, that's actually when he says that line I said before about Claire not knowing, that makes more sense that he said it then when she's having a baby. But eventually she loses the baby, unfortunately. But they're already like back together at that point, so he's there to kind of like comfort her after losing the baby. She's really unsure what she's gonna do at the college because she's been thinking this whole time she's gonna be a mother at the college. So she kind of went against her, she got accepted to Columbia or NYU, which one it was, and she didn't even accept it because she was going to be a baby and she felt like she had to stay in Canada. So she's kind of unsure, but she knows she wants to be with Eli in some way. Eli comes up, gives her, like, he gets down on one knee before prom and gives her a key to his dorm room to stay with him in New York, or apartment, I believe he does get. But she turns that down because she doesn't know what her future holds. She just knows that she does love Eli. She does want to continue dating him, but it might have to be long distance. And this time they swear and promise to each other that they're going to make it work, unlike the last time. And that's how we ended when Claire gets graduated at the end of season 14. So that is the complete story of Eclare.
Yeah, so it's heavily implied that they wind up together.
Yes. Their endgame. Their
endgame. Yep. Very few endgames on Degrassi, but they are one of them. Yeah. Honestly, that's probably, especially for an endgame relationship. Once again, there aren't too many of those, but that has to be the one that's the most just all over the place, most breakups, most just shit happens with those two people.
Yeah, because they're later on in the seasons, they meet each other 10 seasons deep. So they have to do like different stuff to distinguish themselves and for us to call them an iconic couple, because everyone fondly remembers like the first 6 to 7 to 8 seasons of Degrassi, and then the fan base kind of lowers as the seasons go on. But this couple is very important because it provided so much drama in those final 5 seasons.
Yeah. Where did we rank them on the couples tier list?
I believe I was the one that kind of pushed for them to be in the GOAT couples. So
okay, yeah, especially after this conversation, yeah, they're definitely on the S tier for sure. Wow, that's I mean, you did a really good job taking us through that whole story, because there's so much to that relationship. And it's good that they wound up together because they were right for each other the entire time. There was just a lot of roadblocks along the way, but it's good to know that they wound up together, and hopefully in this reboot we get to see them together. That'd be really cool.
That would be cool. Or even just like their kid goes to Degrassi or something like that. That would be very interesting. And we got Sports and Things who's saying that we need Femigen and Drew and Bianca episode next. He's trying to get us to show love to those post season 10 couples out here in these streets.
Yeah, I think we'll probably do Drew and Bianca fairly soon. We got some others we can deep dive from like the earlier seasons. There's so many.
I was going to suggest next week we do the spiritual parents of Eclare, and we go Sema, Sean, and Emma.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, it's either going to be that or that we're in talks right now with a potential guest.
That's true.
And we don't want to jinx anything, but like it would be pretty much the biggest thing we could probably get on this show, maybe ever.
Yes.
So at least for me, and that might give it away a little bit, but we don't know if that's going to happen next week or a little bit down the line, but we will have an answer soon on that. But so we'll either do Sean and Emma, or we'll have a kind of an interview with somebody that, but anyways, the fact that that's even a possibility, dude. Oh my God. I was marking out hard.
And all this started from a simple conversation of us finding out that we both like Degrassi. We've come a long way. We're on the Fightful Overbooked YouTube channel now, and we got a couple of our fans that are here with us every week, and we appreciate all of y'all sports and things saying Sean and Emma made the most sense. Yeah, we do expect for me to rant a little bit about them not being in game at the end of their story.
Well, I don't want to give away too much, but I'm interested to get some answers from some people on like whether or not they even thought that some of these were good ideas, because like Sean and Emma, it was very clear that they should have wound up together, but it wound up being Spinner and Emma. And like, I feel like, because I have heard some people from the show talk about how like they all just kind of wish that the Spinner and Emma thing just never happened because it was just so random. So yeah, there's Sean and Emma that's one of my favorite couples like in the history of the show. So that'll be a really good one to talk about next week. And once again, if we don't talk about it next week, it's for a really good reason, because it may be someone on here, but if not, we'll hopefully within the next 2 weeks. We don't know what order it'll be. It'll be interview with this mystery person and Sean and Emma relationship. We'll do those over the next 2 weeks, assuming that we do get this guest on the show soon. So
fingers crossed. We promise it will deliver. We'll deliver on the hype. It's like we're doing the Tony Khan announcement. We promise.
I know, but it is one of those things where like I showed you the DMs, like
we did.
Like it's a very big possibility, and we're just hoping it happens as soon as this week. But it is a TK. I would not hype this if this wasn't like either a possibility and or something big. But like if you're a Degrassi fan, this person, like this is TK hype level, announcement level stuff. Like this is something that will put our podcast on like a completely different level if we're able to get this person for a show.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
absolutely agree. So I'm looking forward to whatever happens in the next 2 weeks for Degrassi Dudes, but we hope everyone joins us at 10 a.m. Eastern time right here on the Fightful Overbooked YouTube channel next Friday. And of course, you can also, if you got time, jump on over to twitch.tv/FightTalk_ and twitch.tv/True Heel Heat Wrestling, and you can watch our post show where we're going to watch the first episode where Eli and Clare met in season 10 and one of their bigger breakups, I believe, in season 13. So kind of give you a range of emotions there. You get to see them get together and see them break up, because that's kind of the story of Eclare.
Yes, ZP, as EC3 just said, EC3, SP3. Jesus, dude, what the hell, man? I'm getting all tongue tied. Because I'm also reading comments as I'm talking.
I do want to mention from Carlos. Yes, we know it's a sad week, ladies and gentlemen. Degrassi is no longer on YouTube. There are select episodes. I found a YouTube channel that did have select episodes, and I was binge watching all the episodes that were still left on YouTube. But the episodes that we did pick out, Jensen has already downloaded, so you can just go over to the 2 links that he just posted on the Fightful Overbooked link to twitch.tv/FightTalk_ or True Heel Heat Wrestling, and we will watch it together. We're going to have the video on screen with the volume so you can watch it with us.
Yes, and just so y'all know, you Degrassi fans out there, as Carlos mentions here, they are on Tubi still for free, and they still are on Pluto TV. Like they still have the Pluto TV channel. Just a heads up, allegedly, there is a website. It's very easy to find.
allegedly, but like you can download stuff from Tubi. So like if you're afraid of like these episodes disappearing or there's episodes you really, really, really want to make sure you can watch whenever, jump on Tubi. They're all right there, and it's easy to download those shows if you never want to lose them. So that's what I've allegedly maybe have done for our watch-alongs. Hey, that said, I'm still going to be watching on HBO Max when they're there. Like we're still supporting. Me and SP3 are still watching on HBO Max, but we got very used to being able to watch these on demand on YouTube. So like, I'm just throwing that out there. Like Tubi's got them, and there's ways you can save them. So yeah, do that while you can before they're gone from everywhere but HBO Max. I'm assuming that's probably what's eventually going to happen. Is it all just go to HBO soon enough? So
yeah, if I believe they said sometime this month, actually, they're going to be up on HBO Max. So yes, it's not on YouTube anymore, but HBO Max is not that bad of an investment. Got Euphoria as well, because Degrassi walked for Euphoria to fly. And
that's
I just
what everyone says. The only reason I haven't gotten into that, to be completely honest, is because Degrassi, like there was, so many episodes for this stuff to develop. Isn't that show like 2 seasons in? And I'm hearing it's like already, it's like everything's already happened within 2 seasons.
I think they left a lot, especially at the end of season 2. They left a lot that they can get into and explore with the different characters. But yeah, it is a lot going on, and it starts already like at 10 and then goes up to like 100. So yeah, it's an interesting show to watch for sure.
Yeah, I've considered it. We'll see. Maybe.
See.
But anyways, we'll see y'all over on Twitch here in like 5 minutes. We'll be on there. So
and at 1 p.m., you got two options. You can do watch either Jensen over on you're gonna be with Jesse, right?
Yeah, we're trying to. She's literally driving to Orlando right now for Revolution. And as long as she gets in town and settled by 1, we're gonna try to do a prediction show for Revolution at 1:00. Yes.
Or you could go over to True Hill Heat YouTube channel. We're also going live about 1:05 p.m. Eastern time with our preview and predictions. Myself, Romeo, Josh, the whole gang. If you're a part of our Patreon backers, you can put your picks in there as well. So you got a lot to enjoy on YouTube and on Twitch. Join us on Twitch. We'll be there in about 5 or so minutes for our post show to watch some more Eclare. But thank you everyone who joined us on this week's Degrassi Dudes. Remember to drop a thumbs up on the video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you are new to the Fightful Overbooked YouTube channel, and join us right back here next week on Degrassi Dudes, 10 a.m. Eastern time, every single Friday. For Steven Jensen, it is me, your true phenom, SP3, and this has been Degrassi Dudes.
Cut and print. Dynamite.
Beautiful guys. Dynamite.